Good afternoon, everybody. A warm welcome to you on behalf of Maratha Chamber of Commerce, Industries and Agriculture. I'm Manjari Desai. I am very pleased to have you all for this session. We have with us Mr. Chetan Kumar. We have with us Mr. Sandesh Salin. This program is brought to you jointly by MCCIA, UNDP, United Nations Development Program, and GIZ, the German Development Corporation. Uh, the Chamber, along with GIZ and UNDP, is working jointly towards the initiative of sustainability, especially for the MSMEs to strengthen them. It is in our interest that we ensure that the MSMEs are given enough opportunities and awareness on the mandate of ensuring optimal use of resources, keeping in mind the environment friendly practices. We have with us Mr. Sandesh, who is a member and is already using this. So his experience sharing would also be useful for us as a case study for all of you present here. With this, I would like to start the session. Over to you, Chetan.
Thank you, Manjari. Thank you very much. So, good afternoon, everyone. A very well, you know, uh, the great session that we have planned at MCCI, and Manjari has just, provided the background about this session. I'll be speaking on this session on the topic, and then followed by the case studies from Mr. Sandesh Salen, who is the director of Dali and Samir Engineering Private Limited. So without waiting much for others, to join, so let us start this session now.
So welcome
Amol,
participants once again after this brief introduction of the poll, which is for the session which we have gathered, all of us have gathered here to for a exclusive session on empowering business entities through sustainability. So what we thought was we reach out to the SMEs, the large companies, different organizations, and different time periods over the last 2.5 years when we began the sustainability activity as a separate desk. Of course, sustainability has been practiced by almost all of you and also at the chamber over the last few decades in some sense or the other, but we've kind of formalized it in the form of a desk, and we currently offer our guidance to industry and different organizations in a variety of forms, whether it is awareness sessions like this or expert sessions or articles in our magazines or sessions involving government officials or industry experts, sometimes international experts as well. So even during the pandemic, we have conducted a few sessions, and now we are coming up with some interesting thoughts exclusively for most of the MSMEs like you in and around Pune and beyond to try and practice sustainability and help you understand more about it and generate real value out of it for your own operations. It's not just sustainability is not just a lip service anymore in the global parlance, and so also in Indian context and even in Pune's context. When we talk about reaching carbon neutral levels, when we talk about reaching greater value for customers, when we talk about operationalizing practices which aid the medium to long term value for the organization and its people. So it's not only about saving costs or touching environment, planting a few trees, but also taking care of your own people and defining processes and different metrics to measure on the basis of certain standards which are world renowned, whether it is in Indian context or global context. There are certain standards which we will, my colleague Chetan will inform all of you about it. And we also have an interesting case study in the form of Sandesh Salian's entity, which is Dalian Samir Engineering. So he will narrate his own experiences to all of you. And then towards the end, Chetan will also tell you what is in the offing in the very near future. So with this, let me hand over to Chetan straight away. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Sudanma. I'll straight away move with the presentation. First of all, let me thank to my co-colleague, today's speaker, Mr. Sandesh, to you know to make this session uh, you know going. So thank you, Sandesh. So before I hand over to the Sandesh to to hear from him about the success that he see and the vision he has. So we have just completed the poll, and after the poll, you might have seen the results. The governance which has been only given the 13%, you know, and the rest of the thing thought that only the social inclusiveness and the 75% almost, and the environment. So it's okay. So this forms the basis for us also to share some of the things. So I'll straight away move to the presentation. Why accessibility we are talking about? I have got a 16 slide presentation. I'll just spend the 20 to 25 minutes. These are the things which are mentioned here. In addition to this, Sandesh may have got some different things to say because he is a business leader. But as a sustainability expert, from our perspective, we know it very well that those all things are listed here. If you look at, some businesses are in really in problem, which is quite urgent always for them, and they do a lot many firefighting kind of issues every day. And for some, it could be they just don't want to be late to adopt this sustainability. These are the two different, the sides or the ends of the line, you can say. But for some, the cost, for some it's expectations from the clients and the customers and the investors. We have listed all these things in the poll that we had, that will of course share the result with you. Then some say ki, the regulators are quite important for some of the industries. For some of the industries, the competition is very tough. For some of the industries, they see that lot many risks are there, but we don't know how to manage that risk, the things. For some of the industries, the market dynamics are changing. For some of the thing, the companies, they want to shift to the exports. For some of the industries, they want to bring in a new culture within their existing setup. There are so many, the driving forces for the sustainability. And what does, it really adds value for people feel that sustainability is just about the surviving, that we have also seen. But fortunately now in today's poll, we had only, the, I guess, 25% voted for the surviving part, 13% I saw. So the immediate profits and value gain, of course, understood, but majority have focused on the long-term business value, right? So that's a really nice thing to you. But it also gives you the business continuity. It also helps in competitive advantage, clients' perception, the change, and the investors and shareholders' value. These many people don't know, and they don't know also how to link it. These are all profit gains. And for the planet, of course, everyone knows it now because the audience is quite clever on that. The people, of course, occupational health and safety, the code, the compliance, and the capability building, it adds really tremendous value on that. But people don't know about the purpose and the partnership. Here, that is where, the lot many things are lacking in every industry. The risk management, we have that kind of experience that majority of the MSMEs and industries don't know how to manage their risk, and they don't know how to identify. They may have some risk management metrics ready, but they don't follow that daily or monthly in their review meetings. So it's really, important for the sustainability. Otherwise, somewhere some value is lost. That is for sure, and that is itself is a business opportunity for any entity. I'll move to the next slide. The key elements. Now, we are talking about all sustainable business here. Of course, people talk about this environment. Environment covers everything, energy, emissions, but people feel that this is cost, and that is where the mindset change is required. It People feel that it's all about only the compliances. It's not so. We'll see that how. Some people say that this is only social inclusion. It means when we are talking about social inclusion, they see that only the CSR aspect of it, socially, the responsible business activities. That's it. It's of course voluntary for majority of the industries. Only some industry it's a mandatory activity. But when we say this element, it's all about the health and safety. But on more on that, it's all about the human capital management. That is where this training, skills, compliance, employment, a lot many, the humility, intelligence, humility, and all that aspects are involved. And then third is the economic growth, and here the participants are quoted most. Now, when I say this as a economic growth, people only think about the revenue, profits. The I should have a higher price for my goods, or the investors seeks that lot of value out of it. Okay, understood. Some people feel that it's all about the operational cost and productivity, but productivity is important for us. Operational cost only some certain, but we don't go into depth of some other areas. And the innovation, of course, is lacking in every lot many industries. Okay, and what happens is that innovation, they feel it's innovative for us, but if you look at with other industries, that innovation might have been implemented, if you know it, right? But then what about the supply chain, the risk, the global competition, the client's expectation? These are all things, because institutional certification are linked to the client expectation. Why we want to go for a certification? Because client expects. But can we have something which is called compliance to conversion? Very simple, but how to do that, that is where a lot of methodology is required. And of course, that everything makes impact on the economy, because sustainability is all about either it should be cost or either it should be the value for you. But to bring that clarity, these three economy elements are very important. Now we have seen that economic growth element is quite well balanced, because we have got a lot many financial, the tools, the ERP is there, SAP is there, but no one does the analysis. Okay, even though someone is doing the analysis, but lot many are lacking on these two parts. And that is where these three, the things are linked to each other. So now if you look at the energy cost, the water cost, the logistic cost is totally making impact on the economy. So this thing is important. If you look at the working conditions is linked to social increases, because your all employees are working. This is also linked here. And if you look at this occupation, if they are good, they are happy, then they will also be very productive. They will be learning more things, because learning capability, we have seen, is becoming, you know the way the experience and the age increases, the learning capability reduces. That is the things we have observed. It's also applicable in our case. But how the organization should be very good on the learning part of it, it's very important. And what kind of assessment criteria you have, I think Sandesh will also highlight on this part. I'll request him to put some of the actions that if he can share. And that everything, if you look at, if you balance all these three, then you can say that I am a sustainable organization, otherwise not. So why I am saying this? If you look at this, these three are the environment and universal, because it is either applicable to the entire country, or maybe any organization, even at home, or for as an individual, to us also it's applicable. These are all integrated, and these are all transformative, because this will bring us some change that you want to bring in within your organization. Okay, if you have a turnover of say only 50 crores, you just look at the 50 crore revenue, what is the environmental protection cost and social inclusiveness cost in that. And if you see that margin is very varying in nature, then if you reduce that margin, then of course it adds value to your economic performance. So I'll skip move to the next slide on this, because I have spent a lot many things on this hope brings the clarity for the participants. So that is where, if once someone balances, someone brings in the clarity, then the sustainability, one can say that it's a sustainable organization. Then you may have fair enough the chances to gain more orders and to promote the organization in that fashion. So this is all about the sustainability days. So then we already shared, I'll not go into details, but we help all the large and the small enterprises. This is all about, we have talked now, bottom line, access to MNC, business continuity, in inherent risks are there, new opportunities, stakeholders connect long term. These are all the the we help in all these the key areas under those three elements of the sustainability. And that also, so certainly while working with the cross functional team, it builds the capabilities of that. We also help industries to get some awards, and this is all totally know-how based activities. And the case study sharing, and that is where we have today Sandesh, who will be sharing his, the success. So we normally follow. There has to be some standard because people feel that this is quite vague and this is a lot many things are there. How to know, those things well? Because if you have something as a standard, this is the standard we follow, GRI standard, and we follow that from the beginning to the end. That is very, very important. And here I would like to state that just knowing the standard and following that as a procedure will not help. That is where the technical ability and the financial ability is very, very important. You might have heard that the time plus ability is equal to money. You know it. If you don't have time and you have ability, still you are losing on money. If you have time but don't have ability, still you are losing on the money. These two things are very, very important. And that is where one has to put the efforts, the time, and also learn to adopt these practices what we are going to talk about. So what is the approach of one should follow? So straight away, learn from the conferences, learn from such kind of sessions, learn from some articles. We have already published around 9 case studies articles on the Sampada magazine of MCCI. Then one should closely work with the all the stakeholders, the team, the maintenance team, production team, quality team. They should, the teamwork is very important in that. One should understand the the technical things. At least understanding is very important. And then that forms the basis for assessment of the business operations. And there are several operations. People just feel that we have 8 heads, 6 heads. One is looking after for all finance, one is looking after for all customers, one is looking after for all the operations. That doesn't suit. There is several under them, there are several areas, and that is very, very important. And that is where this GRI standard, the procedure helps. That is where the procedure that we are going to talk about helps. But it doesn't just stop there. The implementation advisory support is very much required. I have given you the example. For us, something may be innovative, but for others it may not be. They might have implemented and practiced this maybe 2-3 years back. So why not to learn from such kind of things? That is what we want to preach and promote. So we'll be bringing such kind of session a lot many in the coming the alternate months or so. And then that is where the implementation support helps to the improvement in the triple bottom line. I'll talk about the triple bottom line in my subsequent slide. What does that mean? But ESG is nothing but environment, social, and governance. We have given a lot of weightage to the ES, environment and social inclusiveness, but we have not given the weightage to the governance or the importance of governance. We should understand that. And that is where 40% of the efforts should go into the sustainability. 20% only on the economy, 20% only on the environment, 20% only on the social, and the 40% should go on the governance part of it. And that is where we feel a lot of lacking. And today's participation, you have seen that governance is less than 30%. Why? I don't know. That you can understand well. If you look at this thing, then all these things are linked. One has to start from here and then move. It's a cyclic thing. And what does it deliver? Of course, it will deliver the trained human capital. It's very, very important, because that is where the people will add value. Because, in any organization or business, the man machine is important. Man and machine. And that is where we are talking about a lot many things, the new technologies right now. So that's why the ability is very important here. And this will deliver. Proved solution. We don't want to experiment. As I said, of course, something may be innovative, which no one has done in the past, that we can call as a innovative. But someone has done it and we are doing it first time, it cannot be innovative for us. Please understand it. So it's a proved solution. Let us try and experiment that. And then it also, it ultimately makes impact on the ROI. So this is all about profit will come first here. Please understand. I start here with this, then with this, and then here the top of the top cream is profit, of course. People, planet. And profit is only for self. It's not for the others. Please understand. And people and planet should be equal. So that's why I have given equal weightage for that. So this is really outcome driven services. I have already shared this, but our idea is to help, use the know-how, share this know-how with you. This is what we are doing right now. Then get the specific case studies done. Here we have one success story. Get that success story, and share that, the achievements what we have now with the Dali and Samir case, with the amongst others, and let them give that, the try. So advice to implementation is very very important. We, just don't seek for the advice. Try to focus on more on the implementation part, because that is will give you the result immediately. Otherwise you will draft and you will advise and you will get the advice everything, but if you don't act on it, you will be losing lot of cost or lot of value, I'll say. So approach should be this, I have already shared, but here I would like to more focus on this too. The closely working with the core team is very very important. The visits are important by the experts, or you are visiting to some other places, that is also important. And then stakeholder assessments के लिए, it has got lot many things. These three things, as I said already, these are the 40% share in this sustainability: stakeholder assessment, maturity, and risk management. That is very very important, and that is where the training and capability is helpful. Otherwise we don't know what kind of risk we are mitigating. Only when clients educate us, then we act on it, but by that time the cost is very high to implement that part, and then the ROI is, least interested, then ROI goes up. Anyway, so this is very step, the steps, these are the only 8 steps. This requires, I think, at least minimum last 2 to 3 years of data on several whether you have ERP or SAP or whatever be that. One need to come up with those indicators. What those indicators mean? Indicators mean either it is either cost to you or maybe value to you. Then come up with where the potential rise. Then come up with the recommendation and advices. Then come up with the monitoring tool for it so that you can monitor it. Otherwise, people feel that it should not be the perception driven. It should talk about the facts and figures. That is where the sustainability is. And then, more majority of the effort should go on these things. So these are the outcome here I have listed. I'll share, this presentation copy with you later. So overall benefits we already discussed, but here I would like to stress more focus on, one need to just not think about the surviving or improving the bottom line, but we need to also the create a value of the bottom line, balance that bottom line for every month. It should not be varying. So you should be able to come, the control the factors and the risk around you. That is very important, because when we say uncertain things like COVID kind, it's very uncertain thing, for everyone, either individual or organization. But when we say uncertain, when we cannot control it, when we control it, then it's a challenge for us. And when it becomes a challenge for us, when we are not able to identify the risk or mitigate the risk. So these are the 3 steps: risk, challenges, and uncertain. So let us work on the risk so that it doesn't, become challenging for us in tomorrow's time. And then once we work on those challenges, it should not become the uncertain things for us. And there are several such a stuff. I think Sandesh may would like to highlight on this part in his speech. So I'll move fast. Then shift from bottom line approach to triple bottom line approach, as we discussed. Aligning actions toward the long term growth only. Have a plan for next 3 to 5 years. See what kind of targets we can develop, how much we can, increase the revenue growth, what kind of revenue growth we can expect, 1x, 2x, 1.5x, 3x, whatever be that. Have great plan, have the people of those, those abilities, or train them to, help to achieve that kind of targets. These are all very, very important. And certainly the reporting parts helps to diversify, of course, add new products and customers and value or investors. Sandesh will highlight a lot many things on this. So this is very general thing I have mentioned. Sustainability and sustainable development are 2 different things. Please understand, it's not only just common, because people feel sustainability is just all about surviving. No, please, you are as a participant, you already said that the long-term value, it's a good. I am not even talking about the long-term growth. It's a long-term value. The growth and value, there are different things. Growth is something is, immediately you can achieve, but it may also happen that it may come down from that growth. But the value is certain, you have to maintain it and, enjoy that. But what is about sustainable, the development? There is no standard definition, but there are two definitions are mentioned here. It is all about this we have discussed, but also, the triple bottom line. But if you look at the opportunity, challenges, and risks, which we have already discussed now, but the somewhere the branding is very important. Your customers are doing it, then why not we? That is a question for majority of the industries. So the brand is very important, though we are supplying to the OEMs, whether it is small part or what will be that, it's very, very important. I'll just share here a very quick example. We frequently visit lot many hotels. We may have at home that Jaguar, the taps and all. There is a one manufacturer from Faridabad. He's supplying that particular part which fits into that Jaguar tap and all those things, and then he has that the job, then plating, and lot many process were there. And then his son who doesn't wanted to join his company, who got graduated from UK MBA and all. He said, I'll not join because you are not brand. It's so, and then he said, I have 3 plants, what to do? My next generation just don't want to, continue with this business. Then he said, how to create a brand? His son was saying that I visit everywhere at my home also, but Jaguar name is mentioned, but our organization name is not mentioned. Our organization stamp is not there inside, whether or on, not even in our product. Then that owner, decided that let us close down this 3 plants. I don't want to, continue with the business because I am already running 70. What to do? Then he went to all that London, all way to the London, and he talked to the CEO. He got the appointment, and he said, I will not be able to, give you that part now in future. And that was a key supplier to them from India. He said, why not? Why not? Then the CEO said, he asked, why you want to lose on business? You are already earning. Then he simply said, my son don't want to join the business because we are not a brand. Then he said, what kind of brand you would like to have? He said, I want just one stamp small in my product which fits in yours, so that we'll feel happy at the end, and our employees will also feel happy at the end. So that's as per our policy, we will not do that. Don't supply us, but we just don't want to do it. Then over a cup of tea, that owner somehow able to convince that CEO. Then he got the stamp, made ready, and then that CEO said, you put, but will not bear the cost of doing that process. You have to bear that cost. And you will also have to give some discounters from the next year's order. And he agreed to that, and he got into brand. And his son added 2 more plants to that. So this is just an example. It's very, very important for the branding kind of thing. Anyway, I'll skip to these things. So it's very quite tailored thing, to do. So I may be fast, maybe because of the time. So this is what it is. I'll just take 2 minutes here. Outside and inside impacts I have given is in a pictorial form. This we know now. This we have understood. But the sustainability report, all these actions, implementation has to convert it into a sustainability report as per the standards. That is where that report will help you if you want to attract new customers, if you want to go for a new products, or if you want to diversify to the new market, everything. Or even if you want to go for exports, or if you want to go get the new investor, everywhere, or banker. This is very important because this sustainability is in top of everything. The customer or investor will not even, if you have that report, the customers or investor will not even have audit or maybe due diligence kind of activities done. There are so many examples of such kind. It enhances reputation, of course, gains access to capital, as I said, and it makes us, the head of regulations. So this is what I talked about. But there is something called UN's sustainable development goals. These are the 17 goals are there. This needs to be mapped. How you guys are adding value for MSMEs or industries? We have just talked about MSMEs are backbone of Indian economy and this and that. We have got a employment share of this much. We have just talked about we are suffering. On the competition is high. We are not exporting, or maybe we are not able to what to say. Uh, we are working on a very second or vintage kind of technology. We don't want to go for a new technology shift. It requires a lot many investment. These things are the past. Now the MSMEs or industry should also change that management approach to see or to look at how you are adding value to the SDGs overall, and in which SDGs you are contributing to. And what are those SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals? There is a lot of story. I'll skip that, because Millennium Development Goals got converted into Sustainable Development Goals, and this is the targets for the next till 2030 for the entire world. So these are the SDGs: no poverty, zero hunger, good health, and every country, around 187 countries, have agreed to this UN, and they have got their own indicators. They are coming out. Even the government schemes are linked to this. Please understand. The government is also assessing their indicators, impact, and linking their schemes to this. You know it. I don't have to explain much, because no poverty is of course linked, zero hunger is linked, good health, quality education, and there are a lot many targets under this. Please note, these are not just the icons and the just the titles. Then gender equality, clean water and sanitation. Now we have seen, because of the COVID and pandemic kind thing, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry, innovation and infrastructure, reduce inequalities, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption, climate actions, life below water, life on earth, peace and justice, partnerships for the goals. And now, amongst these, there are only 9 challenges that UN has on target. And 2 targets are, I'll just tell you the 2 out of those 9. One is the tobacco consumption, and the second one, risk that they feel is terrorism. The UN is working on that, and there are 7 others. Please understand. And all this, the goals are linked to those 9 risks. You look, a lot many research and lot many articles you will find this, but one has to be quite practical and realistic, and make it tailored to apply to your organization and your business. So I'll skip here, but this is the 17 goal I have mentioned, which is quite in detail, which talks about the partnership, the collaboration. It could be for customers training, it could be for exports, it could be joint venture, it could be for product development, or it could be for financing, financial value sharing, or whatever that. Partnership or technology, it's very, very important. So what they are talking about: finance, technology, capacity building, and systematic issues. These are the things. And that is where lot of clarity, that coherence, comprehensiveness, balance, these 4 words are very, very important under the sustainability. And that is where the experience, the learning capability is very much helpful. So anyway, I'll skip here, and I'll hand it over to the Sandesh before. And after Sandesh speak, we'll have a question and answer. You can put your question, the questions in the Q&A box. So thank you very much for listening. Over to you, Sandesh.
Thank you, Chetan. That was a very enlightening talk that you gave us. Let me introduce myself. My name is Sandesh Salian. I'm director of a company called Dali and Samir Engineering. We are a leading supplier of fuel modules for various automotive applications. We also produce tanks for oil, water, and vacuum applications. We produce a variety of sheet metal and tubular assemblies, like exhaust systems, cross-car beams, a lot of complex tubular assemblies. And we serve automotive applications like 2, 3, 4-wheelers, as well as commercial vehicles. And we also serve the non-automotive and defense applications. That's a little bit about us. Chetan has spoken in depth about the theory of sustainability. What I'm going to speak to you about is what does it mean for us entrepreneurs? What is sustainability? That was a question that lingered on me till I met Chetan. I thought that this was something for only very big MNCs and all, and it's not for MSMEs. I mean, entrepreneurs like us have a dime a dozen problems. Right through every day is a crisis, and in times like this, we don't have time for anything else. But let me tell you how my thought process has changed. Just to give a simple example, a lot of you guys must have seen about in the 90s, ISO standards was thrust upon us. Our customers said that, "Arey, you need this ISO 9000, otherwise you can't do business with us." And then how did we react as entrepreneurs? Arey, customer says it's a requirement, so what do? Go catch a consultant, bring him it in, get all those formats, fill it, and that's it. But after running it for several years, what we have realized that this would actually help us in improving our quality and improving our profits, because once defects come down, our costs also come down. So in the same way, what we've seen is that sustainability is not just about reducing carbon and things like that. It's a lot else. And once you internalize it and make it a part of your corporate philosophy, it will help your business to absolutely blossom. So let me give you a few examples of what we did. And the timing of implementing sustainability couldn't have been better. I don't know, it's fate that I bumped into Chetan at Maratha Chamber, and he encouraged me to get into it, because this is something that had preceded the Corona crisis, and it really helped us during this crisis. So one of the first analysis that we did was the materiality analysis. And that helped us develop a lot of strategies to de-risk the business. It redefined our complete business strategy. It helps us to shield and protect our business from vagaries of business cycles. So what we basically did is we looked at the concentration of our customers. Like typical SMEs, we have a few customers, and that creates a lot of risk to the business. Because if something, God forbid, something happens to one of your main customers, it has a direct result on your business and your profits and everything else, maybe even the survival of the business. So what we first did is we completely diversified our customer portfolio. So we tried, aggressive marketing, try to move across different customers. The second thing what we did is, like most SMEs, we had a limited number of products. So when you have a limited number of products, you're going to have a limited number of customers, because there are only so few people who you're going to serve. So the next thing we did was develop the entire product portfolio, diversified across different things, go into different segments, because most businesses are very cyclical, and we guys, the MSME guys are the ones who bear the brunt of it. Down cycle, everybody's hit. So this basically gave us a lot of resilience, which is helping us during this Corona crisis. The next thing that we did was, of course, risk management. Now it's very relevant, but when times are good, everybody's going to put this to the door and completely forget it. Arey, risk no, business is a risk. Walking on the road is a risk. But what can you prepare your business for this risk is what is a smart businessman doing. So the risk analysis, which is a core part of sustainability, we look at risks in every kind of operation that we do, and that helps you prepare for things like this. So that's one thing that really helped us. I'm very thankful to Maratha Chamber and Chetan for opening our eyes and helping us focus on this. The other thing was looking at people. For most businessmen, it's just about profit. At the end of the day, why are running business, Baba? It's just for profit. But there's a lot more to business, because there are things like people. People are the guys who are your business. Just buying a couple of machines is not business. The people are the guys who drive it. So what we realize is increasing the capability and improving the productivity of people, improving the morale, that directly delivers profits and other benefits it gives you. So we completely relooked at HR. We are a IITF 16949 company. So the systems are there, but it's how deep that you go into it that really gives the benefits. So we completely upgraded our skill matrix definitions. We overhauled our training identification. And we actually looked at what people really needed to do their functions better. Now, not just that improved the productivity and direct improvements in the business, but it also increased their morale. What we also did later was we developed indicators and put it in the ERP, and we keep it in the system. So it's self-sustaining. And we manage at the management level, we're able to look at these indicators, focus on what is lacking. Like if a guy is not able to do his job wrong, it's the guy is not at a fault. The fault is here because we have not equipped him to do it. So that is the key tools that we deployed, and it's working wonders. Let me also give you a few case studies on what we did. Chetan spoke a lot about energy, and we keep speaking about greening and everything. But how did it help us? Let me tell you. We businessmen think that we are very smart, and nobody understands our business operations better than us, because we're doing it day in, day out. What does a consultant who comes once in a while understands it? And we've done a dime a dozen of these energy audits and all that, and everybody tells you the same thing. Arey, you change your lights, put LED, do this, do that. It's the same thing. But when you look at it holistically in a completely focused fashion, then it gives you completely different results. And that's what we saw happen out here. We use a lot of two-phase resistance welding equipment. And these lights and all are a very small part of your energy consumption. The core consumption happens on this resistive load. And getting an expert team, I'm telling you, has tremendous benefits. And we managed to get phenomenal results, not just in reducing unit consumption, but things like the MD, power factors, this, that, lot of benefits. And going in the future, I see even better benefits coming on this, by this continued thrust on reducing the energy consumption at the plant. Let me give you a different kind of example. Most of MSMEs are horrible noise levels. Dhadam, dhudum, dhadam. We've been running our business thinking, arey, business is going great when your factory is making a lot of noise. The day there's less noise means, arey, there's a problem, productivity issue, or some machine is broken down. So we had a visit by an MNC customer, and these guys are very savvy. The first thing he said, you guys are not using your mufflers. The noise level is not acceptable out here. So we always take these suggestions very seriously, because of course you have to take care of the customer, but then we also look at it improving the process. So two things we did. First thing was, the easiest thing to do is give him your mufflers. But then we delved a bit deeper. Fortunately, we have some experience in exhaust systems. So we looked at the process itself. It was basically pneumatics, and it releases high pressure air, and the high pressure air, when it comes down from 7 bar down to atmospheric pressure, it makes a lot of noise. So we said, how do we muffle it? So we focused on muffling it by putting various containment systems and things like that. So when we started off, the decibel level was very high. It was 79 decibels. And just by muffling, we got it down to about 60, 65. And thereafter we said, let's look at the source. Why do you need so much air coming out? Let's see how we can reduce the air consumption. We redesigned the entire pneumatic circuits, reduce the energy consumption. So, the machine starts consuming lesser energy. The second thing is, we said, like, why should it exhaust in front of the operator? Why don't we put it somewhere else? Simple things that we did. We got a cross-function team, got our own people to give ideas. And as a result, we managed to bring it down to the ambient sound level. So we said, okay, great, it sounds good. And for me, somebody who's been on Gemba, the shop floor, for 25 odd years, it suddenly felt different, because we weren't used to having those processes without noise. And we were like, is it really working, or what is happening? So that's the effect it had on people like us. But I'm not working there 8 hours a day or 16 hours a day or 12 hours a day on that particular operation. It's the workers. So the next benefit that we saw was the workers, the motivation and productivity, just the look on the face was something else. And everybody around the factory started fighting, sir, next machine should be mine. We realized, this has huge benefits on the people. And I tell you, in this Corona crisis, before the Corona crisis, we thought, these workers are not important. You throw a little bit of money, everybody will come running. Today, it's a different case. You are not getting labor. So you have to take care of your people as well, especially the people down the line who are running your processes. So it's not about money now. They even look at your shop floor environment. So these are going to be hygiene factors going forward. And this is how we need to take care of our people and improve our working conditions. So this was another one of the benefits we had. We've made case studies for this also, because we want to horizontally deploy it across our other plants. So as I tell you, problems are only solutions in disguise. It's just a question of how you look at it and how you react it and convert it into an opportunity. So sustainability has just not helped our business to survive, but it's helping us to thrive in this environment, because every crisis also throws up huge opportunities. And it's only the businesses who are all focused and doing well in this environment who are able to grab these opportunities and prosper. So always use such philosophies in your business to be able to grab those opportunities. So let me conclude by just this one thought. This decade is a time of transformation. And I strongly believe that India can and will be at the center of these transformations, driven by technology and shaped by sustainability practices. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sandesh. Thank you very much. It was quite delighted one and quite good practical experience from your side. I would like to just stress here that he has just talked very few actions that he has initiated, but there has been around 28 material issues he has identified. He he said he will be making presentation maybe after 3 months on that very detailed one. And I'll just have one question to you before the others participants are asking this questions. That key, how good is this activities on the ROI part? Because whatever resources you are invested, how manifold does it gives the returns on those while balancing those three elements?
So frankly, Chetan, I had serious doubts before getting on this sustainability program. One of the main reasons I'd taken it was because a lot of our customers and MNC customers are looking at it as a hygiene part of the business. And I didn't expect any ROI on this as such. But let me tell you, firstly, on the economic indicators, what you invest out here will definitely pay you back in profits. There are a huge amount of other factors which can't be quantified in terms of money, which will greatly benefit your business. Like for a simple example, it will help you survive a crisis, which I think there is no amount of money that you can measure it in. So in a crisis like Corona right now, this pandemic, which has created a huge economic crisis, the guys who are not prepared for it are completely washed out. So, I mean, what is the cost of that? I think that should answer your question, Chetan.
So just for the interest of the participants, that this sustainability activities, there is one question for us also, whether it is also applicable for IT or ITES, MSME, or whether it is also applicable to the sizes of the organizations. Believe me, if someone has got a turnover of only 5 crores, still it's applicable. If someone is into only services, still it's applicable. If someone is only working on the data centers or IT part, it's still applicable. If someone has business operations which are related to the electronics manufacturing or maybe something, even a micro size, it's still applicable. So it's just the matter of the level of efforts and the kind of leaders you have. So that is very interesting. So I don't think so there are many questions from the participants. So it's quite open for participants to give their questions on Q&A or chat box. They can mention on the questions on chat box. So this is what it is. Now we are 2 minutes to session. Before ending this session, we will have the feedback session. So I want everyone to fill up the please feedback form, and if you can, Amol, my program leader is there. Amol.
Yes, sir.
So I think you can open the feedback now, and then after feedback, if possible, we can take a screenshots. So I'll ask some of the participants to switch on their videos, so you can take 1 or 2 screenshots from your side. So
I have launched the feedback poll, sir.
Yeah, feedback form is on. So thank you very much, Sandesh. There are some great, the thanks from the participants.
Thank you so much.
So we wanted to have this very quite close thing. So we haven't shared this with majority of the people this time, but we are planning to have a session on this very detailed one, like a sustainability dialogue that we are planning to have in the month of December. Here, my colleague Manjari has mentioned on the chat that there is a UNDP and MCCI is doing some survey. So that survey is on labor and manpower, related activities. So request all of you to please, fill up that survey. We have one more, the training session planned on the 30th, which is on health and safety. So I'll request every participant to have a look at the agenda and the circular that we have shared. So that is going to be under the sustainability. How does it helps to business about the health and safety, and we are mapping the recently launched code by the government of India on the occupational working safety, health, and working conditions. So thank you very much, Sandesh, for to have you. Thank you to UNDP and GIZ, our supporting partners. UNDP and GIZ is working on the similar lines of the sustainability, what we have discussed today. They have a global agenda to promote the sustainable development. So under that, we had this session, one of the project which our colleague Manjari is leading, and we have started exclusively this entire sustainability activities only to help industries and MSMEs. Thank you very much.